It's time for Mission Debrief, Spartans.
Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video games in chronological order, discussing our experiences and driving a wooden stake of lore through your heart along the way.
Oof.
If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts spread on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. If you like the show, you can support us on Patreon by visiting Evolved. For everything Evolved has to offer, visit evolvedhalo.com. This episode, we're debriefing the Road mission from Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside Matt Salvatore.
Oi, I'm back.
He's back for the final road stretch,
Yeah.
the final stretch on the road.
Exactly. The Old Town Road.
That's right. So it's the duo episode. David and Krista are not able to join us, but we are on the road to the end. Is that enough roads?
Yeah.
Road references.
It's very road fitting. Yeah.
Last episode was Repository. With the pilot in hand, Escharum finally had the bait necessary to lure Master Chief into a 1v1. While Chief and Weapon made their way towards the War Chief's location, Cortana's tyranny was exposed. The Weapon was treated to a series of holographic data cluster exposition that shows Cortana's path of destruction and the true nature of the young AI's origins. Distraught, she restores her deletion protocols. Chief chooses trust. Plus, he needs her to complete the mission. Now in the road, Master Chief John 117 theme songs his way down to the House of Reckoning in true Spartan style. Blasting his way through countless banished in Wraith, Ghost, Warthog, and Scorpion, our hero reaches the doorstep of what is shaping up to be an epic showdown. Date of the game is May 28th, 2560. Matt, it's been a bit. How are you feeling about where we are? We are on the home stretch of the game. Lots of questions were answered last mission.
Right.
For the Weapon. I don't know if you listened to that episode, but a lot of what we talked about is all those holographic data cluster stuff. Like you learn about Doizak, you learn about the Atriox and Cortana kind of clash. There's a little bit more story here to come in the next mission or two on that front, but they just kind of dump a lot of stuff on you at the tail end of the game. Do you recall where your head was at this point in the game?
So I think at this point, after seeing all those, I think it was, especially her teeing off against Atriox, was some of like the content that I had been like craving. And just knowing like what happened and with what happened with Atriox, and of course we're still trying to figure out where the puzzle pieces are all going. Mm-hmm. But I really loved that mental square off that they had, and I think I mentioned earlier that you see in here you see Atriox beat Chief physically, and you see him beat Cortana mentally. And so you see that when they were separated, he was able to take them both out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I really like showing that even Cortana and Chief weren't at their best when they were separated. But I really liked the holograms. I think the stories that we're answering, I think it also gave a lot of motivation to the Brutes, knowing that what Cortana did to their homeland.
Right.
I think that was emotional, especially because I think later on we'll see Chief showing some deference to his enemies, and I think you can see that he aligns with them as soldiers, and I think that sets the stage for where Chief's head's at too, is that he's can identify with his enemies, which I think is a unique thing, especially for how far Chief's come through the series, where he can take a moment. But I absolutely loved the last episode, the last level. I think it really did hit a lot of emotional beats, and it really did tie up the Cortana story of it all in a satisfactory bow for me.
Yeah. There's a little bit more of that to come, but they're really, they left a lot of the Cortana, I don't know, breadcrumbs, I guess, along the way. But now that we've done Repository, it really sheds a light on what actually happened, and we'll talk about whether or not they should have let us experience what happened in Halo Infinite versus just watching
Flashback,
it.
Yeah.
So we'll cover that in the recap, I think.
I get that.
But this is this is the story they're telling, and like it makes sense, I guess, that we're discovering it maybe as a player, or the weapon is the one that's discovering it, and then the player is also experiencing it, whereas Chief knew all this shit. Like he was there, like he was debriefed. He knows all this stuff, but the player doesn't know that. And the weapon specifically doesn't know that. So they needed to be creative on how they give us that content.
Yeah, I think it played a little well into the mystery that Halo always has, and I think felt like a detective story where you were finally at the end they revealed who did it. I like that about it.
Yeah, that is Halo storytelling too. They do that quite a bit.
Mystery box. They're like the J.J. Abrams of the gaming industry.
Right. But now we're gonna hop in a Scorpion and blow some shit up.
Hell.
So this is our theme song, as I mentioned. This is our theme song episode where we hop out of this cave. We've been taunted by Escharum. He's more or less told us where he is, and now we're coming up, emerging from the depths, and we are on our way to fight him, because he wants us to come, and he needs this fight. Yeah, they've more or less been setting that up the entire game. But we need to get to him first. So we come out of this I guess cave, this Forerunner structure. I do like how they have the birds flying right away, and then you have this nice sunset.
Look, guys, you're back outside.
Cool. Yeah, exactly. Did you take any time exploring here? Because you can explore a bit. It's almost like the 5th open world area, but it's not completely open, and you can't fast travel or anything like that. So we can't. Again, I think they're gonna patch in. So maybe by the time you're listening to this, they'll give us like mission replays. But the only way to get to the road is to play through the entire game and get to the road. You can't just load up the road. And you can't fast travel over here at all. So after you play the game, then you can only fast travel around to the other open world areas. You can't come back to this spot.
Yeah, which is very disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, right. But you can't really explore much. You can wander around a little bit. So like I turned, how in some games if you start and you just turn around and go the other direction, you'll find some stuff. Yeah. So you can do that here. You find a couple things. There is a brute chieftain back on one of these cliffs, and there's like some drop pods. So you can kill him. You can get a gravity hammer from him. There's like a rocket launcher and a couple of things to pick up. But there's not much to do other than like the vistas are great. The views. Yeah. Fantastic.
I honestly was kind of disappointed that there wasn't more, because like when I was playing through the game and you looked over and you're like, oh, there's another unlockable piece of content. I thought we were going to get more fobs, more HVTs on this side of the, and I thought it was going to, once you made it to that, it was going to be open to you forever. And so the first time I played it, I'm like, story first, and then if there's anything, I'll go back. Like I wasn't even really paying attention to whether new things had dropped in. But just to be like, oh, I remember I tried to take a Banshee over there, and I'm like, oh wait, I can't go over there. What the hell? So,
you get the invisible, turn back now.
Yeah. So that's a little disappointing. But it is a really neat little area, and I hope they can do more with this area because it's way bigger than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for not allowing anything to happen here other than this road. It seems weird that they made it so big. But like I appreciate that because I think, hey, you could do more with this area.
Yeah. And I think they probably maybe the conversations were, well, we've been underground for a little while, and we've essentially enclosed Chief into a specific area. But now he pops back out, and he's used to grappling around and zooming around and having all this, space to move around and do things. So they probably had to make it a certain size just to make it feel like you were still in this open space and you could do things however you wanted to. But it is a good point. It is largely just there's enemies mainly just on the road.
Yep.
You can go off. I did do a little exploring as you go down. There's kind of some cliff edges and things like that where some drop pods will come in if you go off to the side. So they do add a little bit of that, but for the most part, you can't really skip all of the main encounters. You can skip some of them.
Yeah.
But you'll always end up at like a gate or something like that where you have to.
It is. You are very herded to go down this road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's options you can go explore, but you got to go down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an achievement called Bring Sheila Home Safely.
Yep.
Which is get the scorpion that you encounter pretty quickly out of this underground area. And you got to grab that scorpion and take it all the way down to the end. And that's hard to do if you hop in the scorpion and just go.
Right.
So I didn't do. I think I did that maybe in my first playthrough, and my scorpion didn't last too long because there is a lot of enemies firing at you from all different directions.
True
so
enough.
You'll just kind of slowly, get chipped away at. So the way that I did it this time is I hopped in a wraith first because you get a wraith, and then there's a warthog, and I think there's maybe a chopper up there too. So you can have some options. You don't have to hop in the tank right away. Yeah. So you can take a wraith or take something else, clear out as much as you can, and then hustle back and go get the scorpion when you feel like you've cleared enough out. Did you mess around with the achievement at all?
So actually, first time I played this, I brought Sheila home, and I didn't even know.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was an achievement. So
nice work.
I was originally just gonna leave it. I think there's like a bridge at the end. I was gonna leave it on the other side. I'm like, I go, there's gonna be like a hunter that jumps out at me. So I just brought the tank all the way in, and I'm like, oh hey.
And then it popped. Yeah. Yep.
So
nice.
now I explore like I think on my most recent playthrough I took the warthog for a little bit, and that didn't last long. So I ended up messing around. You know when you don't take the tank when they give it to you, and I always feel like Cortana like, oh, you don't want the tank?
Right, she gives you shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta go back and get the tank.
Yeah. But there's a couple of Marines here in this first spot too. So the first area, as you recall, there's vehicles around, and there's like a little tower with snipers, and there's an elite and a bunch of grunts and all that sort of stuff.
Scorpion and the warthog there.
Yep.
I think they're prisoners, right?
And there's some Marine prisoners there that you can free, and then they can become your turret gunners, right? Which is handy when you're on the tank. They're not the best. I feel like it's highlighted here when you don't have to use a tank, but this mission is built for the tank.
100%. The music and everything.
Yeah, exactly. But they give them to you to be the gunners. And then they don't, like, if I had a human gunner, I feel like they would do a lot better job. They do okay, but they just don't, when things are a certain distance away, they just won't even fire at them. Mm-hmm. You have to get close enough, and then if you're too close, then everybody's, pummeling your scorpion. So, anyway, hopefully that co-op will be soon, and we will be delighted by the experience on that.
No, definitely.
The other thing is they give you 2 Marines to start. There's a couple more Marines to save along the way, but they didn't add, and we've covered this already, but they didn't add the ability for the Marines to hop on the sides of the Scorpion, so they just have to run around on foot.
Yeah.
So they do some. Yeah, so that Marine does some things, but doesn't do a ton. for you, that extra one.
There is.
Yeah. Any thoughts on like when the music kick in?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
did you feel that right away?
You totally feel it.
Yeah.
It's synonymous with Halo now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're about to wreck everything. The music's going. You got a Scorpion tank, and you're just like, let's go.
Yeah. Yep. You're just wreaking havoc.
It's a feel good moment as
Totally.
a Spartan Scorpion tank lover.
Yeah. And I feel like that's just what this mission is for, is to kind of give you a little pump up moment, to give you a little.
Yeah.
It's like a break mission. You've had this intense lore mission
Get
with
your
the
frustrations
repository.
out.
You're almost done with the game. You have to. We're gonna go fight Eshram here in a little bit, and then there's some other stuff to do. But they're like, here, just have a tank and go have some fun. Really, is what this is all about.
I also really appreciate this mission because it gives you a lot of Wraith tanks, and I feel like throughout the game we didn't really encounter a whole lot of Wraith tanks. I know there's a couple on the Beacon mission, but then other than that, like I never really felt like I was running into them throughout the whole game. So it's nice to actually like go up against some Wraith tanks with a Scorpion. Those some of the
classic
best.
battle.
Yep, tank v tank.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, totally agree. And plus, there's some race to pick up along the way. So there's one right away, and then once you get a little further down, there is a shade turret that you need to take out because those things will pummel you. You gotta take that out quick. They do fall pretty quickly with the tank cannon blast.
Yep.
So take that out, and then you go a little further down. Then there's like a garage that has another wraith in it, and then there's 2 more Marines in there. So it's nice that they give you some race to jump in, and you can do some wraith v wraith action if you want to save your Scorpion and get that achievement.
Yep.
How do you feel about the wraith versus the Scorpion in terms of driving it, feel more power, like how powerful it is? Like the Scorpion for me, it's slow in Infinite, but it is powerful.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the maneuverability of the Wraith in this game. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think we've touched on like how I don't like how the Scorpion drives in Infinite. Like I feel like it's very, very weird. It just doesn't feel. It feels like it needs a little more tuning, and it's also like like things in your way. You can't really get over it. That's kind of ridiculous. Honestly, though, like I like the Wraith tank, but I've never been like a super fan of it. So I'd rather just stick with the Scorpion because I love how it fires. I love like just looking down at the sights and just boom. Like with the Wraith, you have to be a little cleverer. Like if I
lob.
You gotta lob it into there, and like I've never been great at that unless it was like close range. So even with the Scorpion being a little hard to drive, I'd still rather have the Scorpion tank. But I think this Wraith is great for ramming and stuff like that, and I like the little jagged edges it has. But I'd take the Scorpion over the Wraith. Tank beats everything.
One of the most difficult, and not that they're hard, but the Ravagers, the Brute Ravagers.
Yes.
The Brutes with a Ravager, they're just such a pain in the butt because those things, you can see those things coming from so far away, and they just pummel your tank, and they're hard to get out of the way of, and you're just like, oh, here we go, now it's gonna explode. So I feel like you have to take those things out right away.
And because of like the lob nature effect, they can hide behind cover more.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, get back out here. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come here.
Come here. Get out of behind the rock. Yeah.
Yeah, they force you down this like caverny area. So it's all the road is in this valley. But I guess I'll say it here. They're trying. I feel like this mission again. It's like a release mission. It's like a change up mission. All that sort of stuff. But I feel like they're trying to give you a similar vibe to Metropolis from Halo 2.
I agree with that.
But I also feel like this mission doesn't quite give me the same feel. Like I love the music. I love being the Scorpion tank, and you do have more enemies to blow up. There's no Banshees to blow up. But in the Metropolis mission, everything is like in front of you.
Right.
And it is here to a degree, but you're also getting pummeled from the side a lot. And both the missions, any Halo mission, like the object is to move forward. But in Metropolis, I felt like I could move forward. I could just like hold the stick up and just like swivel my turret and just blow stuff up along the way. Maybe back up a little bit here to avoid a wraith. But for the most part, I was going forward. In this mission, like I feel like I'm stopping, backing up, getting out of the Scorpion, going and getting into another wraith, like to try to save my Scorpion. I'm doing a lot of other things, which is it's not quite the same feel. I didn't feel quite as powerful as I did in Metropolis.
Yep.
In Metropolis, you're like, get in this tank, let's go, let's just blow some shit up.
Yep.
Here it's like, I'm gonna blow some shit up, but I also don't want my Scorpion to blow up, so I'm gonna hop out and go do some other things and go save these guys over here because I need a person to run the turret, all that other stuff. I don't know. Do you have the same thoughts?
I heartily agree because I think with the gates that you have to get through, I feel like it's
that too.
You got to stop and like, okay, I got to get out of the tank, I got to go do the gate. So it kind of, and I do appreciate having like a lore reason that they would build barriers that were designed to keep vehicles out. So it makes sense. But it does feel like it stops the. Like it's like, you feel like you're another gate. So I think the thing about Metropolis though is that it really is just a straight shot, and I think that's what makes it so like you feel like you're rolling over the bodies of the Covenant.
Yeah, right.
And with here, there's a lot of swivel, there's a lot of shifts and turns, and it feels more like you're not like power driving through. You're kind of more just going down a road, like a Sunday drive.
Right. Yeah, you're swerving back and forth. You got your driving gloves on. It's
the Metropolis mission is top tier Halo tank action. So this kind of feels more like when you get your Scorpion tank in Delta Halo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you're kind of interweaving.
Yeah, totally. That's a good point.
The Scorpion in Delta Halo doesn't last long either because you have to, like you said, you got to keep doing stuff. There's all this fire from all sides. Whereas with the Metropolis, you're just like Wraith in front, Ghost in front, and you're just like boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Die.
Yeah, that's probably a better comparison point. But I also feel like in Metropolis, they're saying take the Scorpion and go blow some shit up. In this mission, they're saying take the Scorpion and go blow some shit up. But it's all and like even with the achievement, like and make it all the way to the end if you can. But yeah. All right, let's keep going. So you'll start to head down this hill, and there'll be like some hunters down there, but like you don't really see them because you just blow them up from a distance. You see their dead bodies.
What's that over there? Oh yeah, we'll just blow it up anyway. Something move, fire, boom.
Yeah, exactly. So you're getting pummeled from sides, and there's snipers way down there that you have to like kind of line up and try to hit. So, I mean, the traveling to the gate here, this first gate, is you just kind of just staying back and just pumping, your cannon fire down there.
I honestly appreciate that they put hunters in this mission because the hunters in Infinite are no joke. And you have to spend hours like getting behind them, getting around them. And then here you're just like, tank.
Boom.
Rejected.
Yep.
Yeah. So I appreciated that as someone who had like spent a little bit of time trying to kill hunters with the wrong weapons.
It's nice that they go down so easily with the tank.
Boom.
Right. I think it's one or two shots and they're down.
One shot.
Which comes in handy.
Yeah.
So clear this area, go all the way down, then you do have to hop out like we talked about, and then you have to go to the other side. And there's a little building. So there's a drop pod that comes in, and there's a brute that pops out with a shotgun.
Yep.
So take him out, and then inside the building, you can actually hear this warlord. He's talking shit inside. So if you remember, because he will go camo, if you remember to use your target designator, I think it's called. So pop one of those in there, and then start hitting him, because then he'll go camo after a while, and then he becomes a big pain in the butt. But that gold armor, man. That
Same.
gold
Oh yeah, I was just
armor.
Fred took the words out of my mouth. I was like, but he looks so good.
I know he does.
And not to bring it back to Mega, but it is nice that the Scorpion tank comes with a gold armored.
That's right.
Warlord. So I'm like, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Mega.
From this mission.
Yeah, it's
pulled it out.
It's the road
And
mission.
there are hunters too, right? In that
Yeah,
set?
true that.
Oh, it's the road mission.
Yeah. All we needed was
in the set.
Stone's dead body on the tank in this mission. We could've just
right, just on the back
Yeah.
of it, strap the body
There you go.
on.
Yeah.
No
like,
Spartans left behind.
Just put it in the front, like you know how ships do it with like the.
Right. And then so we open this gate, and then so you do have a wraith, like an empty wraith, just sitting there. You can hop in, and there's a ghost that you can hop in. So open the gate, and then if you want to take the tank, if it's not almost gonna blow up, then you can take that, or hop in the wraith and do some more damage in this next area. The next area has a couple wraiths. There's a bunch of drop pods that come in, ghosts, and then there's like a little area tucked off onto the right that is just where we can get some more variety of weapons and things like that. So you can go check that out as well. I think it's at this point too, either right before the gate or right after, where the weapon comments on the House of Reckoning, which you could see this big structure, which is I think the key art also for the mission.
Yeah, you get like a really good, nice look at it now.
Yeah, what do you think of the design of the House of Reckoning?
Honestly, I don't. It almost looks like something that's like landed in there.
Yeah,
That's what I thought it was. Like I honestly thought it was like a brute base that came in, and it just kind of sat in between these two hills. It looks interesting, and I know we'll talk about it later, but there is a lot of verticality to this. In this, and I don't ever really feel like there's like a tremendous amount of verticality in the levels after.
That's a good point.
So like it feels a little more flat. So I don't know. I think it looks cool. I would, if they made it out of if they made a mega set out of it, I'd buy it.
Right.
I mean that doesn't say much.
Well, what set wouldn't you buy?
Yeah. I have a problem. But I don't mind it. I think it looks kind of ominous and intimidating.
Yeah, I'm looking at it in this walkthrough. It does look ominous. It does look intimidating, but it also doesn't really look like anything.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I don't know if it's a brute base. I don't know if it's like it has. You can kind of see like little like stabilizer legs on the side, or like something. But like I don't even know what this would look like. Like, I guess I don't even really... And it's just because I guess it's situated between the two hills. But it really doesn't have, like, a defining feature.
Right.
It looks more... It's just two-dimensional. You just see the front.
Like, I almost want... And it would... Obviously, it's not Halo, but I almost want, like, Eshram's face on the side of it. It looks almost... It kind of looks like an evil office building is really what it looks like.
Looks something out of like the Lego movie.
Right, exactly.
Lord Business here.
I mean, it's fine, but I feel like they could have brooded it up a little bit more. I mean, it's red, it's banished colors.
Yeah.
But maybe add something else, some utility to it, or
I agree.
something.
I honestly was kind of surprised that there was no weapons on it. Like, I thought I was gonna, when I rolled up on it for the first time, I'm like, oh, they're gonna be shooting me from like the top, but there's nothing on it. Like, there's no turret positions, and that to me was weird. Like, I thought there would at least be guns on it.
There should be like a giant cannon on the top of it that just like takes you out.
Well, like, imagine if there was like the AA turret cannons on there.
Mm-hmm.
Just something, because like
something to pummel you.
Because like they defended that road, but like, what if the enemy attacks with like an airstrike?
Right.
Yeah, I guess they only plan for a vehicle attack. Oh, sir, they sent in the wasp. We don't know what to do.
We don't know what to do. We can't defeat the wasp.
Are you blind? Deploy the banshees.
All right, so just a little more cleanup. It does get. I feel like it does spike in difficulty a little bit here, just because the area's a little more wide open. There's more paths, so the race that you encounter can kind of sneak up or hide behind these mounds, these little hills, and then pop back out. So like the maneuverability of the race is so much better than the Scorpion that they can cause you problems, and then there's a couple ghosts that pop around. But if you're just slow, take your time, or if you just take the Wraith from the the previous area down, it's really not too bad.
And the brute drop pods, they drop in really close. So if you're in a Wraith, it's easier to be like, okay, back up, turn around, move a little to the left. Here with the Scorpion tank, you're like, okay, go left, and it goes right. So you're like, wait, hold on, wait, turn around.
Yeah, right. It is satisfying though if you're on your Scorpion just to pummel those things. As soon as they drop and the door opens up, you just blast.
Surprise!
And exactly. A couple phantoms do come in too, so you can spend time trying to blow those up or just leave them, and they'll drop in some reinforcements and I think a ghost or something like that. So yeah. So clear out this area. Let me just look at my notes really quickly. Yeah, nothing else major here. And then they do have a little bit more of an encounter, so you can sneak down, crawl further down in. I think there's another turret to deal with down in the next area. Not too bad. A ghost does come in handy here too. I feel like just the maneuverability
and the speed.
The speed, yeah, and the enemies aren't too difficult. That I like hopping in the ghost just clearing everybody else out. Mm-hmm. And then you reach the final gate, and it's not defended.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
See, that's why when I first played this, I was waiting for a trap. Mm-hmm. So I remember when I'm like, I got to get out of the tank to open a bridge. I'm like, and then you're like waiting for them to spring out at you because it's so like minimal. That's why I'm like, there's no weapons on this fortress. There's nothing. It just felt like they were waiting to turn the key and like
somebody hit the button.
Yeah, somebody forgot. Estrom was like too busy recording his monologue that he's like, oh, I forgot to hit the button.
Yeah, because there's like sniper towers above, and I mean the gate opens. So what they're trying to say is like Estrom's like, come on in, you know, come on, we'll deal with this inside. He's letting you inside, so he called the dogs off. He wants you.
Yeah, I honestly think that you're right. Yeah, I think that the idea is that this is a test of metal.
Mm-hmm. And he said in a cutscene a couple of missions ago, because the Harbinger was saying, "Hey, like throw more reinforcements at him, take him out," and he specifically says, "Odds won't break him," which is awesome, which is a cool line, and more or less saying like, you know, we have all these warriors. I'm just gonna throw them all there. He'll just kill them all. So we need to. Especially in an open space, you know, we need to get him into a confined area and try to take him out that way.
And that sounds like well, clearly he is proficient at killing Spartans, so he knows what to do with. He just never met the Master Chief.
I mean that's kind of it. You can wander around, so the door opens, you can wander around. There are weapons to grab if you want, if you don't have a good loadout.
Yep.
Let's see here what I write down. There's a heat wave I found, a commando, a shock rifle, a Ravager, Hydra. There's lots of stuff around this area. You do have to extend the bridge though, like you said before. So it'll give you a little waypoint. You have to climb up this ramp, go, you know, release the bridge. Yep. And then you'll get a cool. The cutscene actually is pretty cool that you see, and then it kind of gives you this wind around of the bridge extending and stuff like that.
And it like pans up to the House of Reckoning, and you're like, oh, gee, it needed an Estrom face on there.
It really did.
Yeah, or like an Aatrox little hologram on the front, like
something.
You know.
And maybe, you know, we've kind of exhausted the Estrom speeches, but a little Estrom speech here would have been nice. Just something. Big
booming red guy coming out. Yeah. Honestly, I still I played the Halo Infinite the campaign quite a bit, and I still love Estrom's trash talk speeches. Yeah. Because like at the end, you know, you're like, yeah, this you want to be taunted by the villain. You want to be like, you want to hate this guy, and then you end up loving him because you hate him so much.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you're like, ah.
You start to miss his taunts.
Yeah. Now we're like, just one more speech, man.
Come back. So yeah, that's the road. Pretty quick, pretty short. I mean, enjoyable enough. You know, I feel like they could have done a couple things here, and part of my community question talks about something at the end, like a boss fight would have been interesting here. So we have some community thoughts on what this final encounter could have been.
The warden finally showed back up.
Yeah, ooh. Can you imagine a warden fight in this little arena? I mean, this arena does feel kind of wasted. It could be a fun arena to fight.
Everyone from Halo 5 is like, oh,
they throw everybody at you.
Another warden fight.
Yeah, or another adjutant resolution fight here. One more.
Yeah, just one more.
Just one more.
No more. None of those. None of that, guys. For all the people that trash the warden fights, they were way more fun than the floating ball dude.
Yeah, that we asked that question. A lot of people chose the floaty ball fights over the warden fights.
Nope, not even close.
So no audio logs. I mean, there may be like some Spartan logs in here, but nothing like story, like mainline story specific. No skulls either. So it's really just kind of a straight shot. Have some fun. Go blow some stuff up. Mission.
I honestly wonder if that had a lot to do with the fact that they knew that you couldn't like come back to this area.
Could have been.
You know, so they're like, oh, you're just here for a short little drive down the lane.
Mm-hmm. I had one other thought here, and then we'll rate the mission. So again, kind of back to the criticisms of the mission, whereas, you know, in comparing it to Metropolis, I want a Halo mission at some point where you're in a Scorpion, but you're not the only one on your side of the field of the battle, where you're in a Scorpion, and then there are some missions like this where there are other you do have some backup. I think Halo 3 has some. So maybe it's just a callback to that. But I want a mission where I'm in a Scorpion and there's like 10 other Scorpions on my side. Yeah. And we're all rolling deep. So maybe this is like, what mission is that in Halo 3?
With the Wraiths, I mean the Scarabs.
Yeah, something like that. So I want to be rolling deep, but then I'm the last Scorpion at the very end, right? So the problem with this mission is that you are the only target.
Okay.
And you can't really go quickly through this, and it does give you the music, but like you feel like the record scratches eventually. Yeah. Right. And you don't have that music and that same feeling the entire mission because you get slowed down. Like you have to get out of the tank. The tank will explode eventually. Okay. Because you're the only one. But if there's more Marines with you, then the enemy can target them, and you can feel like you're the powerful one that's making its way to the very end. Okay,
I 100% agree with you. 100%. The problem I had with Infinite was it never had that like human oorah moment where like I felt like it was missing, where like in this Infinite campaign it feels very like Chief's very solo, and the UNSC is really scrapped. And I get the story they're trying to tell, but I think at the end here, if you had like a Halo Reach cutscene where all these vehicles are gunning it towards the enemy, and then it transitions, and it's just this wave of UNSC vehicles, tanks, air, like everything we had left. Just threw it at it. I think you opened the road up a little bit, and you add a bunch, and it would have been great. Like in the distance, you could see wraiths blowing up because other Scorpions were attacking. Mm-hmm. And I think that would have shown like, oh look, Escharum really had just secluded himself in this bunker that he had, and you had to take an army to get his defending positions out. And then after his like defensive positions were swept away, then he goes, okay, we'll settle this inside. Mm-hmm. And then only Chief can go inside.
Yep.
So you have
I think that's it. I think we just want a Halo 3. Yeah. It kind of feels like what we're describing. Yeah. Just like the Ark and the Covenant. We want that again.
We're never satisfied. We want more.
But yeah, no, totally agree. Because this would have made sense, right? Like, you've been going around saving your Marines, like you've been gathering resources,
Right.
to make this final run. But the story, the campaign was structured in a way where you're the only one that pops out of this Forerunner hole, where it wouldn't have made sense. I guess maybe you could have, made a call and then
on your left. Oh wait.
yeah, something like that, right? Where the pilot is like, hey, I knew you were gonna be in for a struggle. Here's a bunch of stuff, and he drops it all off. And
well, like every major movie has that. Star Wars. There's too many. But there's more of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been cool if just like Chief scans the area and then like a bunch of little waypoints start popping up.
Oh yeah, that'd give me chills, man. It gives me chills right now.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And then Locke goes on. He goes, "The light's green."
The light is green.
That's why they don't let me write this stuff.
The Locke could show up here. A blue team could show up here and say, "We're with you, Chief." Then they go on the road with you, and then they're like, "You take care of the rest. This is as far as we can go." Something like that. It'd been amazing.
I would have been like, "Hold up, no, blue team, you better come in here."
Exactly.
Why did blue team just showed up just to go down the road, and then they're like, "Okay, Chief, you go kill Astrom."
All right, enough daydreaming. Ugh, so much fun. What do you think then? So what do you rate this? I mean, there's more potential, but based off what they gave us, out of 10, what do you give it?
I get what they were going for. I did get like that rah moment, just hearing the music kick in. I did like I said, trash and wraith tanks. I do like the encounters that you have. I think I like how they're like, yeah, you're in a tank. Let's gear everything, to hunt a tank. I think just talking about how awesome it could have been, and I know that's really bad to do, judging it on what it is and what it isn't.
Right.
But I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's... is it too high? I mean, there's really no story here.
That's true. But like you said, we were just coming off of a very big story dump.
Yeah.
So I can see that the rationale being like, maybe kind of just ease him out of it.
I feel like I've been harsh on Infinite, and I'll just continue to be harsh. Just because there are a lot of frustrations with this, and it could have been better. I'm going to go 6, since you gave it a 7. If you gave it a 6, then I would have given it a 7. How about that?
There you go. Just break it up a bit. Contrary.
But we're just kind of in that, 6.5. Again, we had fun in this mission, but there were frustration points.
No, for sure. For sure.
All right, so like we mentioned, no audio stuff, no skulls. So we'll just do some community questions, and we will get out of here.
Oh, yo.
All right, I'll start with Facebook, then you wrap it up with Discord. My question was... Add a boss fight or final encounter to the road. Kind of like what we talked about here just a second ago. Jimmy John. That fucking brute chieftain during the Harbinger fight should have been at the end of this mission. Oh, that's a good point. And we haven't talked about that yet because we haven't gotten there. But that guy's a bastard. Storm Maldonado says, Spartan George makes a random appearance and saves Chief from a lethal and fatal strike a war chieftain was about to make from behind, which throws both George and the war chieftain over the bridge, and the last word George says is, "Remember, Chief Mum loves us and is sorry everything that has happened to us." As Chief sees this happening, hears a voice from Atriox laughing and says, "How can a Spartan be willing to throw his own life away for an ancient relic of the past?" And just like that, the credits roll in. So he wants the game to end there.
Jeepers.
Dickie Keys, an elite jetpack ranger who's been pursuing you the whole time, like what old mate with the red sword was supposed to be, Jega. But like two swords, and uses his jetpack to bum rush you or some shit. I like it. Alexander Rodriguez, an ominous, all too familiar voice. The others scatter like embers in sand, and yet the librarian's champion is unmoved. And then the weapon says, "What is it? More brutes? Chief. Worse. Enter the Didact." Ooh. Interesting.
Dun, dun, dun.
They got to bring him back eventually, right? Amado Jose. A crossover event with the TV show. Master Chief fights his internal desire to clap Covenant cheeks.
Tom.
Damn it. Nathan Jeffrey, Scarab for sure. Add a couple of the banished vehicles from Halo Wars 2 as well. Ooh, that'd be rad. I like that. Lucas Fitzer says, banished Scarab, nothing more, nothing less. And those did exist in Halo Wars 2. And then Steve Fox chimes in. He says, what about 2 banished Scarabs?
Ooh, I repeat,
scary.
2 banished Scarabs.
Mm-hmm. Ian Francis, our own, says, the troll under the bridge, played by a grunt goblin. I think he really wants us to watch some, and now I'm going to forget about it. What's Monty Python? He really wants us to watch
Tis but a
Monty
flesh
Python.
wound.
Yes.
Let me go back and face that peril.
Richard Miller says, or Millar, perhaps, says, a severely corrupted Cortana could, in quotes, could you sacrifice me to complete your mission? Could you watch me die? Wouldn't that tug at your heartstrings? Maybe more suited for a final boss. That could be interesting. Like Cortana shows up and you got to fight her somehow. And maybe she takes over the warden's body.
Ooh.
That's all for Facebook. What's Discord?
All right. So at 6/1/2022, Colin Perkins added in the Discord, add a boss fight / final encounter to the road mission. Question for Mission Debrief Halo Infinite The Road episode. So let's see. Taki MCPOT said at the end.
It's Toki McPot.
Oh, Toki.
I think.
I don't know how to read these. At the end of the road is all the hierarchs, and you just have to listen to them talk for like an hour. And you thought fighting Warden Eternal 20 times was bad. Oh, here's a good one. Horror organized crime, a beefed up banished scarab, but you get to fight it with the Hornet. Hey, see,
he wants Halo 3 too.
Everybody just wants Halo 3. They're just like, you know what? We're just gonna make. Everybody just wants it to be. The banished scarab kind of popped up a couple times here. Let's see. Just an empty room. Oh, Matt Regret says, just an empty room with a button. Door is open. You can just walk right past the button. Button does nothing, but it's there, so you think it it must do something. Maybe if you press it 2 to 5 times in rapid succession. Maybe if I walk past it and then come back. Oh God, why have I spent 3 hours trying to make this button do something?
Boss fight is just the button. What does it do?
It's.
I love it.
I think it'd be hilarious if sometimes the button did something and sometimes it didn't. It was just like on a timer.
It did something for like one person.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and they posted it.
Guys,
and it never
the warden
works.
showed up when I hit the button. And then everybody spends the rest of the time button. And then we have the pesky bird, grunt with an overshield and a skewer. Ooh, how about like a grunt goblin?
Yeah, that was cool.
His
I like the
name
grunt goblin.
is Solid Yap, metal
Ooh.
grunt, or just a grunt with a massive shield, and you have to find Butters to shrink his shield. He will be cowering and taunting you, and when his shield disappears, he just surrenders and runs away. Let's see. Postman Pat. Mrs. Goblins and her 69-inch dildo. That shit's scary. Gee.
Oh, God.
And then our man DeSudo says, Krista is the mega evil boss bitch. She tosses her Krista Sim Army minions at you, grunts, but you discard them with ease as they're all wops. Oh my gosh. Krista has fled for the fall. Oh my gosh. Krista has fled for the follow-up game, leaving behind the rotten, stinking carcasses of her lame simps. It stinks like...
Good Lord.
Okay. Reclaimer says, a genetically modified 25-foot tall grunt named Upchuck, who's dual-wielding skewers and has 4 overshield. All while riding on the back of a scarab. Upon approach, he yells for Frodo.
Nice.
And then Solokel.
Yeah.
Okay. I like his clone helmet there. a bit bad trip through memory lane and beat all the other bosses of the other games on a level up difficulty. If you are playing on heroic, the bosses are on legendary, including multiple hunters and stuff.
Nice.
Two
Just throw everybody
scarabs.
at ya.
Repeat, 2 scarabs.
Right.
I think that's it. I think I got everybody. Jedi Spartans.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically replacing Harbinger with Krista in the Silent Auditorium boss fight. I think a few people here need to go play Halo 3 for some fun Sierra
Exactly.
fights.
People want that anniversary, or the, I guess, the remake. It would be a remake. It would be a, what's the other one? Not remake. Just a refined version.
Remaster.
Remaster, yeah. They want remastered Halo 3. I do too. I mean, if you go back and play Halo 3 now, like the gameplay's still solid, but like the cutscenes could use a little work.
Little varnish.
A little love would be nice. All right, that'll do it for a debriefing of the road mission from Halo Infinite. On the next episode, we will be debriefing this building in front of us, the House of Reckoning.
Dun, dun, dun.
Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at Podcast Evolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Evolved on Patreon for everything Evolved has to offer. Visit evolvedhalo.com. Until next time, Evolve.
Evolved.
Evolved, your home for Halo.